to see you. You all right?
I'm good, thanks, yeah.
Yeah, so how's it been? Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to be back up north.
Yeah, it's good. I was here last week, obviously, for the start of the week, which was nice getting back into camp. It's always good coming back in and sort of seeing all the boys again, not seen them for ages, especially for quite a few of us that were away in the summer. So nice getting in and seeing everyone again, yeah.
Right, well, should we head through and we'll continue this chat along the way. Well, Finn, it's great to be back, isn't it, for the sort of Quilter Nation series, back with Scotland. But let's just start off by talking about the year you've had so far, because, I mean, with Bath, it was an absolutely unbelievable season. How do you reflect on what happened sort of up until the summer?
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy season, I think. We did so well the first year I got there, got to the final and stuff, and then to have won, the boys won the Prem Cup, and then we won Challenge Cup and the Premiership. It all kind of sometimes kind of happen. It comes so quickly that you almost don't have a chance to take it in and appreciate it how it kind of went. Usually at the end of the season you get to do that, but then we flew out straight to the Lions, me and Will Stewart. So you're straight onto the next thing, and then before you know it, you're back playing again.
Get Alfie Barbary's celebration outfit imprinted
Can't
in
get that out of my head, no.
but
it's good. It's exciting times, and yeah, these are why you play the game, to have seasons like that. Yeah, it's pretty special, that.
But then on to the Lions, as you've just mentioned. What was that experience like for you by comparison to previous tours that you'd been on? Yeah,
well, very different to obviously 2017 when I flew out late. And the role when I went out in 2017 was very much just to cover the midweek games and sort of make sure the test team was fresh for that first and second test. So that role was very different, even though it was great fun. Very different, and first time being involved with the Lions in 2017. But it was different. That's the only way to probably describe it. It's hard you can't compare the two of them at all. And then 21. It was a brilliant tour, but again different with COVID. I got injured that tour, so I had a few weeks that I couldn't play, and I was unavailable for selections. So that was how that went. But then played in the third test, which was great fun. And then this one is having friends, family, fans, everyone there the whole time was amazing. That's the the pinnacle of your career, or my career, and to have done it a few times is amazing. But it was great to have gone over to Australia and got the win, and backed up 12 years ago and sort of go back to back over there was cool. Yeah, I bet it was. We hear so many times from players that have been involved in these tours just about what they've learned, and even at your age, things that you can perhaps pick up and bring into the Scotland camp for this series itself. What do you think that you did pick up from this summer? I think there's a lot of things that you learn, whether that's off the players that you're training and playing with, or the coaches, the way that they coach, the way that they see the game. And there's not just one way that you can play this game. I've probably changed my playing style as I've gotten older and gotten more experienced, I should say, not older. The way I was playing in Glasgow, Racing and Bath are different at each club I've been at, due to the players, the coach, the whichever country I've been playing in. And then going over to the Lions, having a lot of Irish coaches there, you see their kind of mindset and how they view the game, they see the game. So it's really interesting, actually, especially as a 10. It's maybe different for other positions, but as a 10, as the game manager, it's actually really interesting to have different game styles and understanding them properly, not just watching them and having a rough idea of how they play, actually fully understanding it now and playing in that system for about is interesting. So, and that, I guess, will be absolutely key when it comes to this weekend and playing a team like New Zealand, when it's not just about the physical element, it's about the organisation and the intelligence of playing a group of players such as that. Yeah, exactly. I think the last couple of times we've played them, it's been a close game. We've never managed to win, obviously, but it's been a close game. I think I've played in the last 3 times we've played them, so I've got more experience than quite a few of the boys here in that. Sione, Gilco, we've had, there's lots of other guys obviously there, but that we can try and draw from. So when it comes to the last 15-20 minutes, depending on how the game's going, we can adjust and change if we need to, or keep going as it is. And I think for us as a nation, that's probably where we should hopefully get the biggest improvement in our games, is the last 20 minutes against these top teams, just being able to not just stay in the fight, but to stay in the fight and hopefully get the win in the end. Because if you look at the last one, that's exactly what happened, wasn't it? I mean, amazing to come back and score so many points in a row, and then obviously just slip at the sort of the last hurdle, as it were, to get the job done. Yeah, I think that was, from being ahead to then come back and score and win the game, was hard to take, obviously. And the one before that, I think it was Hoggy went down the sideline and almost scored in the corner. So come from behind and almost win that would have been cool, obviously. But 2 very different experiences, from being ahead and losing it and being behind and almost winning it. So again, if we're in either situation this weekend, hopefully through past experience we've got an idea of how to either manage the game or what we need to change and adjust to hopefully get that win. But it's easy to talk about that just now, but when you get onto the pitch, it's a it's obviously very different when you're out there against the All Blacks, having to try and stay on task and not feel the pressure of their intensity that they bring. You know, they're, I think, number 2 team in the world, and they're a very different style of team to an Ireland or a South Africa or France. You know, some of the top teams are very different. So yeah, it's a game that we're looking forward to, but we know we have to be at our best to beat them.
You obviously spent a little bit of time down there, didn't you, earlier on in your career? What are your sort of main takeaways from being down there, living in it, breathing it, as it were, and how it shaped you, really?
Yeah, I had, I think, 3.5 months down there, down in Canterbury and Christchurch. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I went from playing at Ayr to then have 3 months over there and had great fun. I think the thing that I noticed, especially at club level, was the knowledge of the game that the players had. Everyone knew exactly where they should be and why they knew why they were meant to be there. You know, it wasn't they'd been told you have to stand here. They actually knew why they were there to be in each position, which made a big difference. It sounds like a small thing that everyone should know, but it's not quite as simple as that sometimes. But for me as a 10 over there, being the playmaker, it was so easy to play in that system because you just had to do your job, and that was at club level, which I probably hadn't experienced before. So that was one of the main things. I think thinking back to the last time we played, we were ahead and they came from behind. The confidence that they have from everyone being able to do their job, that's a massive thing for them and for us as a nation, where we're striving to try and get to where all we have to think about is doing our job and making sure we do that right, and everyone else does theirs, and we should be in a good place. So for me, it was an amazing experience. The guys that I worked with down there, the boys that I played with, there'll be some of them playing this weekend. Scott Barrett, he was in Lincoln Uni with me, so we played together quite a lot. Scott Robertson, I'd worked under him in Canterbury when we were doing individual sort of skills. He was one of the coaches that would come in and help when we were in our scholarship. So there's a few of his other coaches staff that were there helping out. So it's quite funny. It's sort of, when was that, 2013? 12 years later, going up against him will be good fun. Bring back some memories. And I think the difference here in Scotland to New Zealand is that they're brought up with rugby. That as soon as they're born, they're pretty much immersed in it. When I was going around Christchurch, instead of having any football pitches, it's all just rugby pitches everywhere. So it's hard to probably implement that here in Scotland, as it's not the way that we're brought up to just be immersed into rugby. There's other sports here that people will be into, obviously. So
put it into context, what it would mean to actually beat the All Blacks, given the fact that Scotland have never managed to, not even like just you in your attempts, Scotland have never managed to do it.
What would it be like? It'd be mental. It'd be amazing. I've played them a few times, but like you say, it's not just I've never beaten them or this group's never beaten them. Scotland as a nation's never beaten them. And I was chatting to Chris Patterson earlier, and he was chatting about the times that he'd played against them, and you're getting close, and they seem to find this next gear that they've got, or the players who bring off the bench have this next level they can bring the rest of the team up to. And I think they're such a hard team to beat, and a few folk are saying they're maybe not at their best just now, but I would probably disagree with that. I think they've maybe got the likes of like Dan Carter, Richie McCaw there just now, who are some of the biggest names in rugby. But if you look at the players they have at the weekend, and they're the same level of player, maybe just not as big a name. They've had a great rugby championship in the summer, so they're sitting second in the world. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's a weekend All Blacks team, So yeah, I think it would be amazing to beat them. It would be a dream for us all, I think, to beat them. It's actually we're probably the most iconic team in rugby, if not sport, I think. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I think we need to make sure we get our stuff right if we're going to have a chance to push them at the weekend and get the win. When
you look at this group of players with the World Cup in a couple of years' time, how excited do you get about it and about what the team can achieve?
Yeah, I think we've got lots that we can achieve, and I think when I was chatting about the Lions and coming back from the tour there, I think a lot of us that were on tour there, it'll give us an extra boost of confidence. There's 7 or 8 that were there, boys that got flown out later on in the tour that were as good as other nations, in the 6 nations anyway. So a bit of confidence there will help, and I think that will then hopefully seep into the rest of the team, which I think is great. We've got boys, Bath, we were lucky enough to win the Prem last year. Glasgow won 2 years ago, Blair's won back-to-back years in France. So we've got quite a few boys in the team that are winning tournaments now. It's not every year, but we're winning, so we're getting used to that, I suppose, which everyone does say winning is contagious. I think that's something that I've found when I've been playing at Bath, that you get used to winning, you have this self-belief, self-confidence, so trying to bring that out in all the players is going to be important over the next few weeks, and then going forward, building up to the World Cup. And I think one of the other things, as I mentioned before from the Lions, is players demanding the standards off each other. I think that's probably more important than the coaches demanding it from us. You can have a coach shouting at you and telling you whatever it is on the pitch, but it's up to us as players if we want to change and we want to get it right and want to push each other. It's a lot stronger, a lot more meaningful when it comes from the players rather than the coaches telling you if you feel like they're on their back. Whereas if it's your teammate who you're playing alongside or you're playing against, it means more coming from them, I think, than it does from the coaches. No offence, Gregor, but I think
we do listen, Gregor.
No, but I think that's something that we probably brought back from the Lions, is that as players we need to start driving this more so than the coaches, and we need to take ownership of what we want to achieve, and hopefully that'll be shown in the next few weeks, and then building up to the next World Cup.
You just said their winning is contagious. Do you get nervous ahead of a game like this, or?
Nah, I wouldn't say I get nervous. Maybe it is the way I deal with nerves. I love big games because I wouldn't, like I say, I don't see it as nerves, but it's like, I've got to make sure that everything's as good as it can be just now. There's no room for error, so I've got to be at the best to play in this game and be at my best to this game to hopefully win it. And that might be nerves, but the way I view it is like an exciting challenge of it's a test of myself rather than I can't make a mistake. It's more like, right, how good can I be to try and beat this opposition that I'm playing against. So that's what I've probably always said my whole career, that I don't get nervous. Because I view it as like an exciting challenge. Maybe that, again, like I said, maybe that's the way I deal with nerves, but I don't really see it as nerves. As I see it as like an exciting challenge.
Well, it's worked so far. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you.
Brilliant.